Thank you very much for the speakers. Okay, I will start with the statement that we agree on. Yemen is in conflict. My colleague just mentioned that Yemen has been classified before the conflict as a fragile state. I'm afraid, as a matter of fact, by international standard, Yemen has always been a fragile state. It's not a traditional state, and I don't know when we talk about the capacity of the Yemeni government, if we also need to talk about the capacity of the donors in dealing with the situation there. I think there is an argument for development in Yemen. Maybe all of us agree here that developments need to be continued. There are two interesting points that have been raised. The pipeline of funds. As a matter of fact, you know, the USA, the EU and many other organizations in the past and now have allocated funds for Yemen. And for a long time, the case is that the funds are not dispersed. And the reason, there is no capacity. And this is the dilemma. So I think at this point, where the funds are where are the funds are going to come from is not relevant. Because if we have an experience in the past where funds have not been dispersed, and after the conflict, if it ever ends, we will have even a bigger problem in terms of absorption capacity. We need to realize that the absorption capacity, one of the problems is the donors also contributed to, is in the past they have forced development into Yemen. They have came in with, you know, their ideas of development, starting with, you know, the big investment projects and ending with a very small local level, interventions, both ends. You know, so in the middle they ignored the government, they ignored the authorities. They have always, you know, we all applaud the Social Fund for Development. It's a great institution. There are many other ones that are not, they are, you know, not government, but they are government at the end. So why did the Social Fund succeed and whether the governments did not? We should ask this question, because a lot of support was provided to the Social Fund, to the PWP and others, but not to the government. There always, I have seen myself, I've worked in development for over 20 years, and they have evaluated numerous projects, including World Bank, EU. They come up with an idea, we need to do restructuring. They go to the ministry, you need to do restructuring. They force it on them. And the end is disastrous. We just, we say, okay, we need decentralization. Decentralization needs to start from the bottom, not from up. You need to build capacity at the local level and then work it up, not, restructure the top and then you have nothing at the end. You don't have no central authority and you have no local authority. So I think these are issues that need to be brought as we move on, because if we continue to development the way it's being done, maybe it's better if we don't do it. If we're talking about blueprints, again, I applaud my friend for bringing the issue. Who was consulted in this effort? Were there a lot of Yemenis consulted, a lot of locals consulted to see what are their priorities? We cannot sit here and prescribe the solution for the local Yemenis. We have to go there. Many organizations are doing it. At this point, GIZ is working. They have their office, they have their staff, and they are working. UNDP, UNICEF, why not others? If the donors are not in the ground, they just receive reports. They don't know what's reality. They don't know how much is accurate. And I will tell you, not more than 10 to 20% of what you receive is accurate. Not more than that. The list is just words, nothing in the ground. So I urge all donors to be more realistic, to talk to the people, involve locals, whether they are, now under Houthi, whatever, because we are talking about the technocrats who are going to do it, and we need to support them for the future. We do not have to give them money. I realize that this is not acceptable. I realize the fiduciary cost, risk, and other issues that the donors have to deal with. but also they have to deal with realities and also support what could be a future of development of Yemen.
Thank you, Mr. Aliriani. Mr. Dan?
I spoke too much, sorry. Okay, I would be more optimistic and give 3 recommendations maybe to somebody, you know, somebody here. On the political side, I would say focus on regional, you know, players rather than the local, because this is where the money comes from. The second thing is, of course, establish an alternative, strengthen the government, establish an alternative for people in Yemen, so the people move from the Houthi areas to whatever, you know, new places, Marib or Aden, some place that is safe and people could have a good life. On the humanitarian side, do more now and focus on long-term solutions as well. On the development side, do more, find alternatives to finance. We cannot say there's only the SFD and they are overwhelmed and we cannot do anything. There are always ways to establish new organizations, to find ways such as the UNDP and GIZ have found. So with that, I do support the idea brought to form a coalition and also meet if that's going to help. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Over there.